Let's talk to Rupert Darwall about that. He's the author of Green Tyranny. Good morning to you, Rupert.
Good morning, Julia. I have to
Good morning.
say, just on that comment, I think it's a bit rich of Boris Johnson to call them crusties when he said he was going to lie down in front of a bulldozer to stop a runway being built. It comes from the top.
Yeah. Well, indeed. I mean, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, there's no doubt at all Insulate Britain are not popular with the vast majority of the public. We saw with Extinction Rebellion, their protests. Frankly, the public has tired of it. But a lot of find it rather bizarre. They're constantly protesting against a government which keeps putting in more and more of their policies.
Well, I think the thing that Insulate Britain forgets, and a lot of people are forgetting, is that we did have a huge insulation programme. It was part of the EU directive 2020, if you remember back, I think it was 2007, the European Council adopted it. And it was a 20% increase in energy efficiency, or cutting energy usage. And that led to Grenfell Tower. It led the British government to a big insulation programme of putting up cladding on tower blocks and we saw the tragedy that happened at Grenfell Tower and the ongoing tragedy that people are now locked into tower blocks. They can't sell their flats because of the defective cladding.
Yeah, well, I know the Insulate Britain is saying, well, actually the government has stopped, the insulation work, but they're constantly saying they're concerned about, 8,500 people die due to being in too cold homes every winter. But of course, that's not to do with insulation. That's to do with the fact they can't afford to put their heating on because of energy costs being so high. Because part of your energy bill, of course, is funding renewables.
And the government wants to put on a heating tax. Because renewables have colossal subsidies and they want to spread them which are now levied on electricity bills. And don't forget, Julia, part of what we pay on our electricity bill goes to finance charging stations, EV charging stations. And it's basically used as a green piggy bank. And they want to extend that to our gas bills. So the gas price is already high, they'll go up even more.
The Prime Minister, during his speech today, which is going to be very policy-light, we're told, that he will pledge that all UK electricity generation will be fossil fuel-free by 2035. Given where we've been in recent weeks with the concerns about our energy supplies, with gas and electricity companies going under because of the huge hike in gas prices, because basically the wind didn't blow for a month, how worried would you be about us facing blackouts if he actually does commit and deliver on that pledge?
Well, it's taking a leap off a cliff. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. The Prime Minister, we are experiencing the early stages of an early energy crisis. This is the early bit. We still have one or two coal-fired power stations used as backup. They're being taken off the grid in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, I think it is. And he's going to say he's going to take all gas generation off the grid. The technology to keep the lights on purely from renewables and a bit of nuclear does not exist. We don't have enough nuclear capacity to pick up the slack. It's as simple as that. It's completely insane.
Did you hope that actually, when we did have the concerns, and when we saw what happened with wind and other renewables, just simply were not able to provide the percentage we'd expected, 20% at sometimes, just disappeared quite literally off the grid. We don't have the battery power to store that energy for long periods of time, and certainly in the size that we need. That this would be a bit of a wake-up call, not just to the government, but also to the general public, that we do not have the technology at this current time and unlikely to have it in the coming decade to achieve this net zero target whilst also keeping the lights and the heating on.
Well, you do hope that when reality bites, that politicians, political leaders, accept reality for what it is. And in Boris Johnson's case, I think it's a mixture of ignorance and ideology. It's the one thing he seems to believe in is impoverishing the country with insane energy targets.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. I'm really hoping there is a large number of the population now waking up to that now.